this. All of you will just remind me, take me days back when I started off like you guys in one of the acting schools in Mumbai. So you're all on the right path.
Sir, Thar, origins.
So Thar stems from my childhood days, and this is for all you guys क्योंकि आपकी जो memory है, आप जो चीज़ें experience करते हो life में, somewhere or the other it reflects when you want to become an actor or a director, whoever. So as a child, I used to love westerns.
Okay.
जो आपका कैरेक्टर है बर्ड स्पेंसर का
जी
वो वहीं से आई यूज्ड टू लव द बर्ड स्पेंसर टेरेंस मूवीज ऑल द मूवीज मेड बाय सर्जी लियोन गुड बैड अगली वंस अपॉन अ टाइम इन द वेस्ट एंड आई यूज्ड टू बिलोंग टू अ पार्ट ऑफ राजस्थान दैट यू नो इज नॉट द पैलेसेस एंड द डेजर्ट्स वाला राजस्थान थॉर्नी रॉकी माउंटेन्स.
अच्छा.
और जब मैं वो फिल्म्स देखता था एंड आई यूज्ड टू गो टू राजस्थान एंड आई यूज्ड टू सी दैट दे हैड अ वेरी अनकैनी रिजेम्बलेंस to the landscape of Rajasthan and the faces, you know, the dirty, dirty teeth, sunburnt faces,
leathery color.
Yeah, sunburnt faces, all that. And as a child, I used to imagine कि बैठे-बैठे कि यार वो पहाड़ के ऊपर एक cowboy आ रहा है घोड़े पे देख रहा है. So that was a child's imagination. I never knew that I would be an actor someday.
Correct.
Or a director someday. And when I wrote this story and I wanted to say something with the story, I said, how do I put it in a way that it's unique,
Correct.
it's different? And I said, oh great, I mean a western, बहुत कम बनी है western हमारे यहाँ, and I said it fits so organically
right.
into this part of Rajasthan, and that's how the whole genre of the western for Thar came about. Phantom Films was producing it at that point in time,
right.
Anurag Kashyap, Vikram Motwani and Vikas Pahl, and Harsh was doing this film called Bhavish Joshi. With Vikram, and I asked Vikram if Harsh would be interested in this, and he sent the script to Harsh, and Harsh really liked it.
Right.
And then Phantom disintegrated. वो film बनी नहीं वहाँ पे.
बराबर.
And Harsh and me tried to make the film, and then we went to Anil sir. So Anil sir read the script, and we went to Anil sir because we wanted him to play Surekha.
Right.
And we took the script to Anil sir. He read it. He really liked it. He called me. I went to his house, and he said, "Script तो बहुत बढ़िया है, but I don't know you as a director. You have not directed any film."
Correct.
So जैसे आप लोगों की ऑडिशन होती है एक्टर्स की, मेरी भी ऑडिशन हुई थी. So he asked me to shoot 3 scenes with Harsh.
Yes.
We shot those scenes. We shot it like a film, edited it, did the DI, background score, everything, and showed it to Anil sir. And he really, really liked it. And that is how he came on board as an actor and as a producer. And then Netflix came on board, and that is how Thar happened.
Right. Let's take the character of Panna, the villain. How did you come about with that particular character?
Panna to be this character, again Panna again stems from real life, because when I used to go back to my ancestral village, there was a guy like whose name was Panna Ram, and he was evil, you know. So so it stemmed from there again. But he is the sort of guy who is very patriarchal, looks down upon women, you know, he thinks that he can get away with everything. And very chalu, very shatir. Correct. In his ways. And but also comes from the hinterland, so he's very rustic and not that intelligent also.
Right.
So that's how Panna's character came through.
So जब हम बात कर रहे थे सर, आपने बताया कि there was a particular audition you did for Panna, because of which you selected Jitendra Joshi as the actor. तो मतलब what exactly as an actor did you want? अब आपने character लिखा हुआ है, story आपके पास ready है, the character you are very clear, मुझे ये चाहिए. Now what do you expect from the actor? कि वो क्या करे उसके लिए?
So the strange thing about Jitendra Joshi is he's a fine actor. I don't know if you guys have seen him in other this. He was in Sacred Games 1. Yeah. He just did a wonderful film called Godavari in Marathi. He won the best actor at IFFI recently, the last IFFI at Goa. So when the casting director sent me his audition, yeah, he was very good in it, very good. But sur galat tha uska. He had gone off sur because I think they had briefed him that way. Okay. So I went to the casting director's office. We called him again and we did the audition. I explained to him. Little did I know, because I thought he is Maharashtrian. Little did I know that he's actually from Rajasthan. And for me to cast for this film, for the peripheral characters, I was thinking that if I can get people from Rajasthan who are very good actors, so the local dialect comes in very naturally. You don't have to work on that.
Right.
But he's a fantastic actor, and the take that he did on that audition, he did the small things, the small nuances that he got while understanding the scene, correct, while understanding the character, and it was flawless. And I said, amazing. I mean, this.
And then, sir, how did you make a superstar like Anil Kapoor into Surekha Singh?
Uh, so the thing with Anil sir is, 40 years of experience, 40 years of working. तो उनको अलग कैसे दिखाएं?
Correct.
One was the genre and the film was अलग, but Anil sir के साथ जब मैं बैठा था, तो we started working on his character.
Correct.
So he is this guy who has been in the police force for 40 odd years, about to retire, hasn't done anything great.
Right.
So he is like the landscape, weathered over time.
Correct. Correct.
Like your dhaba, weathered over time.
Right.
So the character, it was a symbolism of he's been weathered over time. It's
Right.
like a rock that has been there in the desert and over time is just weathered.
Correct.
Until this whole thing happens in his area. But we wanted to keep the tonality of the performance slightly subtle. We didn't want to go overboard with it and very real. Very because I knew I could make it cinematic and I could make it commercial through my shot taking, through the visuals, through background score, through everything. But the performances we wanted to keep very real and very, very natural. And he did a brilliant, 80% of, so for you guys, when a director or you read a script, a director can only tell you this much, what you read in the script. What you bring to the table as an actor, because for me as a director, I like to see what an actor brings to the table. Your intelligence, your craft, your thinking about the script, you're in between the lines. What you bring to the table as a character is very, very important for any director, because that shows how evolved you are as an actor. So, and Anil sir, too.
Sir, like just for their sake, can you explain how Anil sir works? As in, for him, he's already like 40 years of experience he has got, but now he's got Surekha Singh. He has to do everything subtle. How did that work? Like, I'm asking from the point of view of an actor. Okay, how did he work on his character as an actor?
So for Anil sir, the first thing for him is that he is very, very passionate about his work. Even after so many years of working and continuously doing films over the years, he's been doing work at the top level for years now. It's very easy for somebody to get jaded or tired or aankh band karke he can act. It's not that he needs to. Right. But despite that, you know him very well.
Yeah.
We were working in workshops with him.
Yes.
He continuously kept working. He used to call me at 7 in the morning. तो उनके दिमाग में आता था even before the shoot.
Yes.
हाँ राज क्या हो रहा है? And I used to, sir, good morning, सो रहा हूँ sir. तो he used to say, हाँ मैं सोच रहा था रात को मैं सोच रहा था कि हम ऐसे करते हैं या ऐसे हो सकता है. तो उठ आजा घर आजा. So I used to rush to his house. Then we used to sit and we used to work on the thing. So the main thing about Anil sir and what is there to learn from him, and I imbibed a lot from him, is his work ethics. He doesn't let go. He will be at it.
Correct.
Even on the set, before the set, even in post, even for dubbing, he came and he just dubbed. Yeah. So the work ethics, the hard work that he puts in, and he prepares. You have actor prepares here, and this is the key. This is the key for any actor. Prepares. You have to prepare. And someone like Anil sir, who doesn't need to prove himself, prepares so much that when he is on set, he just is there.
He's just there.
Yeah.
So what is the whole generation thing, like working with Anil sir on one hand was a different style of working, plus you have Harshvardhan on the other hand was a completely different style of working. How did you feel? Like, because they are going to enter into an era where they might have to do both. Like, if they get a purely commercial film, they will maybe have to do with the energy of maybe a Lakhan. On the other hand, if they get something like what Harsh is doing, like a Bhavesh Joshi or something like that, so they will have to completely go on the other side of the spectrum. How would that work for an actor?
But isn't that what an actor is supposed to do?
Correct.
I mean, like, the great thing about Anil sir is that he has this amazing ability to, adapt to every sensibility. Like, like my sensibility is a certain way. Tomorrow he might be working with, say, Anis Bazmi.
Correct.
And his sensibility is a certain way. And Anil sir will do both with conviction and amazingly well with both. So as actors, you guys have to be able to adapt yourself, because in our cinema, Hindi cinema, so to speak, you have this whole gamut of films that are being made. Like an Anurag Kashyap film, to an Anis Bazmi film,
correct,
to a Rohit Shetty film, to a Karan Johar film.
Correct.
You have this whole gamut of films, and that's great because you have the opportunity to जो भी सुर पकड़ना आपको, you can catch that as an actor, but you need to be prepared for that. You need to be a good actor. You need to prepare कि कल if you do a Karan Johar film, for example, he will have his own way of directing a film or directing a character or performance. Tomorrow you work in an Anurag Kashyap film, वो उसका अपना तरीका है.
Correct. Sir, coming to Anurag Kashyap, you started out with Gulal as an actor. आपने engineering की हुई है, and then how was the shift, like from engineering to becoming an actor to writing, in fact?
So that journey, I came here by coincidence. We'll not get into that. But what I realized when I came here to be an actor is that I wasn't here just to be an actor. I said that if I want to act, and obviously I did my preparation, I did theatre and I did all of that. But I also, you know, the first thing I did was खाली बैठा था, कुछ नहीं करना था, तो I wrote a script. You know, I wrote a script based on what my college experience was on ragging and other things. And when I met Anurag, rather than go to him and say I'm an actor and I need work and I want to work with you, I went to him with a script. मैंने कहा ये पकड़ो. And he was kind enough to read it, and he really liked it, and that is how Gulal happened.
Okay.
But what I did was, like, I worked with him as an assistant director in Black Friday. I acted in Black Friday. But whatever film I acted in, I got into everything.
Okay.
I used to ask the cinematographer, क्या कर रहे हो, क्यों कर रहे हो? I assisted in every film I worked in. Even as a lead actor, I was assisting.
Right.
In fact, after doing 3 films as a lead actor, I went and assisted Anurag on Gangs of Wasipur. So for me, whatever I did, writing, like an assistant director,
Correct.
was always, I was constantly learning. There's so much to learn. You know, when you are on a film set, I think if you guys get involved, I mean, some people may not love it, but if you have the jigyasa to learn, to, you know, understand and just keep learning, and the best learning ground after your school is to be an assistant director. You know, because that puts you in the middle of everything.
Correct.
And you learn so much I learned, because in Black Friday I was an assistant, there was KK Menon on one side, there was Pawan Malhotra, there was so many other people,
yes.
Piyush Mishra. Yeah, so I learned while being an assistant director. So I think that's very important. So, कि आप निकलो स्कूल से निकलो, बस काम करते रहो, कुछ भी करो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के मतलब अंदर, पर काम करते रहो. Don't wait for that one big opportunity. Just keep learning, keep working. 2 things happen with that. One, you learn, and then you get connected to a lot of people. When you work on a film set, in any capacity, you get connected to so many people.
Right.
Like the art director, the cinematographer, other actors,
right.
assistant directors, and assistant directors are the best way to connect to other people, because यहाँ फिल्म में काम करते हैं, मैं दूसरे में चले जाते हैं, मैं तीसरे में जाते हैं.
Correct.
You know, so
that journey actually brought you eventually. आप अनुराग सर के साथ थे, and first you wrote for him, and now he writes for you. Isn't that a brilliant circle of life?
No, he didn't write for me.
For this, the lines, the dialogues.
Yeah, he wrote the dialogues, but I mean, also the script. Also, I mean, it's not that he didn't be part of it, because he was reading the script and giving me feedback,
Correct.
and we were doctoring the script accordingly. But he was very kind enough to write the dialogues of the film, and I think he's one of the best dialogue writers in Hindi in the country. But it's not that he wrote for me, he was kind enough to write for me.
No, I'm just trying to figure out that it's so nice to see that, you know, the lines that you took to him, and now he's writing lines for you. So that's a wonderful circle.
Yeah, it's a circle.
It's like it just comes down to everything, and all your experience counts along with that.
Relationships. You build relationships over the years, you know, and keep holding on to those relationships. Be genuine, be true, and you will see कि अभी नहीं, maybe 3 years later, 4 साल बाद, one relationship that you formed 4 years back will come in handy at some point in time, you know.
Correct. So now post Thar, like if these actors want to come and work for you, what kind of advice would you give them?
First of all, you all have to be good actors. You have to be good at your craft, you know, and that comes with obviously diligently preparing to be good actors. That is key.
True.
A lot of people talk about looks, you know. You have to look a certain way. If you look the character, if you write as a character, you will look good on screen. So when people say looks are important, yes, looks are important, but it's not the good looks.
Okay.
It is the look of the character that is important.
When you say looks, आप visually a character बना रहे हो. Now how do you take the journey of the character forward?
So there are 2 things to it which everybody knows. I think it's an external and an internal, right? Okay. When you decide a look of a character externally, so you work on things, how he's looking, whether he has whether he or she has what external features, hair, etc., clothes, which is very important. Internally, you work on a backstory.
Right.
Yeah, you work on a backstory for the character. You see which milieu the character is set in. Say if the film is set in UP, if the film is set in Kerala, there's a certain milieu to the film. You work on age of the character.
Correct.
So a lot of things combined that you work on, and obviously the journey and graph of the character.
What training of yours as an actor today helps you as a director, as well as like how does that work?
I love sports, right? I love sports. I'm myself a sports person. In sports, it's very simple. Unless you're very good, unless you work very hard, and unless you know, on the day that you're playing, you perform, you're not going to go ahead. So constantly you have to work. Constantly on your craft. It's a day, it's like riyaz. You see the greatest of singers, they will do riyaz every day.
Correct.
You know, they will do riyaz. The people who play instruments, classical, they do riyaz every day. You have to do that in your own way. And other than that, I think it's just, you have to crack a lot of auditions. That's an art. What I look for is basically personality. You know, looks, everything is great, but if you have a unique personality, if you stand out from the rest, you know, that is what a director will notice. It's your personality. It's not your looks. It's not how you, talk. It's just your personality. And any good director will see through you if you're trying to be fake. It's there. They will see through you.
Right.
Each of you are unique in your own way. Each of you have your own unique personality. Do not try to ape the other person. Try to find out that one thing about you that is different from the rest of, you know, and put that out. He has his own personality. Why I like him and why we cast him is he has his own personality. He's not trying to be somebody else, right? You know, so you have to have your own unique personality. There's a lot of work for everybody, but you have to work hard. And you have to find your own self and personality, and that's what people are looking for. That's what casting directors are looking for.
Right. So, sir, I would like to open the ground for anybody who has questions. So,
Wait, I have too many questions. But so Thar, everybody had a specific dialect. Do you expect the actors to learn and get familiar to the dialect first and then move to the script, or just do it like simultaneously?
No, see, you obviously need to read the script first, yeah, and then you know that, okay, he was talking about building a character. So when you build a character, dialect is a part of it. So once you start working towards the character, dialect becomes a part of that. So, but you need to understand the script, you need to understand the character's journey, you need to understand the character to start working on a dialect.
right. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, please.
Hello sir, my name is Advani Verma. I'm from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. And अभी आपने बात की थी unique personality होने की, so my name only means unique.
Oh.
Yeah. And my question to you is, how do you choose your cast?
So, see, again, the cast is, first of all, see, I look at you, right? Now, if I have a certain character in mind, the first thing is if you fit into that character as you are right now. That's my first thing. Second thing, then I will test you and I will audition you for that part. If you're a good actor, number two, that works. And that's it. It's just that. It is how, for me as a director, it's how natural you are to that character.
So, what are the 3 things that you would like to share with us that you haven't told us already from your experience from Thar? And also, what do you take away from directing?
Okay. So one thing that I haven't told anybody is that I was scared. I was scared to hell, you know, because I am this new director and I am directing someone like an Anil Kapoor and Satish Kaushik sir.
Yeah.
And when I reached the set, I know, you know, prepared and everything and all of that. And when I reached the set and the first day or the second day, I was like, oh my God, what have I taken on? You know, it was huge.
Yeah.
Just that responsibility of directing this sort of a film. I was overwhelmed the second day. I said, I can't do this. I can't. But I mean, we got into the groove. So this is something that I've never said to anybody. And I actually broke down. So it was that scary for me at that point in time. What I took away from the film is basically, it is very relevant to Anil sir, because his years of experience is what he brought to the table. Right. And I learned so much from him. I mean, I give you all gyan over here, but we all have our flaws, and his work ethics, the way he looks at life, the way his passion towards life is, his energy, you know, that was a huge, and what I learned a lot on this film as a director, as an actor, as a human being, as the fact that, you know, okay, you know, once I've done this film, now it's done well, I felt, yeah, there is this strength of character in me that I could do something like this.
Right.
You know, because it took me 7 years to make this film. You know, I wrote the script 7 years back, and we were at it to make this film, and finally it's happened, and it happened. So for me, more than technical stuff, these were the takeaways from the film.
My name is Maria, and so I wanted to ask you, in your film Gulal, you played the role of Dilip. So is it anywhere close to your personality, and if not, how did you audition for that role, particular role?
So my audition was the script.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
But how did you take in the character?
So Gulal stemmed from a little bit of who I was, because I wrote it, a little bit of who I was, but I have seen people who are very, very naive, who are very, very, even here, I mean, people come to be actors or you enter a college, very, very naive, they don't know better, you know, they've been mollycoddled by the parents, everything is taken care of, and you can, which I was talking about earlier, you need to be ready to face on the world. This character wasn't, you know, he wasn't, and slowly, when he got into these things in the film, and when he reacted, that was a very violent reaction. Yeah. So it is a little part of me. I was naive at that point in time, but it stemmed from the fact that I saw a lot of these people in college when I was in college, and I was in a engineering college, and I saw people like this character. So it was a mix of, like I said initially, what you see in life, what you experience, what you observe, and they all stay in your subconscious, and then when you write or when you act or when you direct, it all comes together in that sort of a way. So it came from a lot of subconscious level of who I'd seen across in my life.
Yeah.
So, I'm Shreya Mehrotra. What was your biggest challenge when you acted in the movie Gulal? Did you face any challenges as an actor?
As an actor, yes, I mean, any role is a challenge. For me, like she asked that question, it was just a part of me, but I was not the sort of guy who was so submissive. You know, I grew up in a boarding school from the age of 5, so I learned to be independent. I was independent. I have gotten into fights. All that has happened. That's part of life. But the biggest challenge for me as that character was to be very docile, be very like submissive, be very, which is not me, you know. So it's very, sometimes, you know, there's a line in Gulal, if I remember, ki, when KK Menon's character says, ki, so I say, ki, to GS aap hi ban jao na. Yeah. So it's very easy to say, ki, to GS aap hi ban jao na, you know. Like, but to say that in a meek sort of way, where you're saying a very powerful line to somebody very powerful, but to say that in your own way, in a meek way, I think those were the challenges for me to do.
If you want to entirely close the circle of today, how would you do it? What kind of advice would you like the students to take with them from this particular class today? You all are professionals. One thing, I don't know how many of you all talk like this, but I hate the word struggler. I hate the word. Right. You know, nobody, if a CA comes out and, you know, being a CA graduate, would never say that I'm struggling to be a CA, right? Or a doctor or anybody. This word struggler psychologically puts every actor down. So what I'm saying is that do not let anybody put you down. Keep being that person that you are. But sir, you never gave up. That's why you are here. Yeah, that's the takeaway from it all. Thank you. I love this experience because just for the reason that I have been where every student is at the moment, and I just somehow go back to that time, and it was so overwhelming for me and just to interact with them, because suddenly I feel, okay, there is in a small way I can be a part of their journey.